And hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, honey. Goodbye, even for some people. I was going to do that little Luther Vandross. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, goodbye, bye, 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 baby. Okay, yeah. Hey, what's going on, people? I'm coming to you live right here, and I wanted to have a few things to say with you. I'm gonna try to be as quickly as possible. Y'all know I'm here at the Donut Factory, and wanted to come to you today and things of that nature. Let me start by saying hello. This is Demetrius Big Meats Taylor, honey, and you are dishing tea right here with Big Meats on Facebook Live. I've got to learn how to have more than one apparatus going because I need to put this up on YouTube as well. And if they would let me download this damn thing so I could post it directly from here, that'd be fabulous. But in any event, before we get started, I'm going to put down here in the comments section, honey, my website, for you to go there anytime you feel to understand and learn anything about me or Dishing Tea with Big Meats, honey. You can go right here to www.dishingtea, dishingtea.com. Okay? Go there, dishingtea.com for everything Dishing Tea. A couple of announcements going on for you, honey. The first thing, and most importantly, I am working on my second book, Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations. It is going to be released on my birthday this year, March 4th, honey. Pre-sales will be up and running real soon. I got to get the link together so for you guys to pre-order the book and have it. I'm also going to make sure that we have copies of the first book, Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. These are companion pieces to one another. So it's not that you don't, to have one without the other would be bad or false or wrong or anything like that. But I would encourage you to get both so that you can continue on with some of the lessons and things that I want to teach and what has come to me during my study, my quiet time, my shower time. Y'all know water is my element, so I try to do all those things there. But yeah, Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations is the name of the second book by yours truly. And it's coming out very, very soon. I'm doing the final touches so I can get it to the printer and get it all printed out for you. So, also, we are going to be working on my play, No Time for the Pain. I'm going to have fundraising information coming up soon so that we can get that up and running. We had a couple of successful runs with it before, and I want to reboot it and make it run again. So, No Time for the Pain is coming again to Detroit and to Atlanta for starters. And once we could get this thing kicking and moving and grooving and things, honey, I want to bring it across the country as well. So those are two things that I'm definitely working on this year. Okay, what's my motto for this year, honey? Hashtag funding my dreams in 2018. Ha. Okay. I see a lot of you are coming on up in here. Come on up in here, children. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I'm going to be talking something. Y'all know what I bring to y'all, honey, is considered to be controversial at times or whatever. At the same time, honey, I'm hoping that we could get a discussion started so that um, it will behoove us to at least get something going. I like to have dialogue so that within the dialogue we can come up with solutions, not just talk about the problems, but we need to come up with solutions and then apply those solutions so that we can make it tangible and then to make it happen so that we can all grow. And today I'm going to be coming to you to talk about accountability and responsibility. Let me put this up in here too. This link, hold on, hopefully it'll copy and paste. Okay. That particular link that I just put is the Facebook link. What's his name? So FBF Muhammad something or another. He's one of these black empowerment children. Power to the people, one of the conscious children. He has a series of videos up, and one in particular came up about black women. And when are we ever going to make black women accountable? Okay? And I know for those of you who are in here, I'm going to say a couple of things that you're going to disagree with, I know. So the whole purpose of this is to find out what you're going to disagree with, so that we can make it happen. Okay, make it happen, and then find out what some of the solutions are going to be. So that, and note, I said some solutions, plural, because it's just not one solution that's going to be a fix all. Okay, so let's make this happen. Again, first off, let me go up in here and see who's up in here. I want to say hello to the people. We got Calvin and Dwayne. Hey, Dwayne, what's going on, baby? Good to see you, Latrobe. Kendrick is up in here. Brianna, hey, daughter. Lavinia, hey, good morning to you too, my darling. Uh, Jeff and Devin and Keetrick. Hello, thank you guys for coming in. Hey, Richie, what's going on, baby? Thanks for coming up in here. Derek, hey, how are you, baby? Thanks for coming in. If you would like to share this with folks or whatever, I encourage you to do so, and that would greatly appreciate that as well, because we're going to get started. Now, one of the things that the brother was saying in the video was, well, no, you know what? Let me not take it to his video first off. Let me start here, and I'm going to ask the question: what do we believe to be, or what do we think folks mean when we say accountability and responsibility? You know, we got to be accountable for this, and we got to make sure that you are responsible for that. What do you think that it means? Yeah, put your answers down there. I'll read those out loud in the comments and things. But one of the things that I believe that it means is that you have to stand up. If you say you're a grown ass man or a grown ass woman or whatever, then that means that you're going to stand up in your shit. You're going to take ownership of what it is that you do and what you don't do. Okay, alike. If it's a mistake, own up to it, because you always own up to that praises you. But how come you can't own up to that which is a flaw? Or which becomes a teaching tool or a lesson or something that is required for your growth and maturity and your matriculation. Oftentimes, particularly when we're talking within the confines of culture and race relations and things, we as black people, we tend to um, uh, there always seems to be a divide between the sexes and the genders. Um, the children always want to make sure, we point fingers and say, oh, somebody else's fault. Oh, well, black men don't do this, and they don't do this, and they don't do that, and oh my God, and oh my God, and oh, there ain't no good men left, and oh, the men got real soft, and oh, the black men this, but then black men will turn around and say, well, women, you do this, and women that, and y'all too bossy, y'all too this, y'all don't respect me, y'all don't that. And so the whole thing becomes, when are we going to look at ourselves individually? And then when are we going to then come together and try to unite? And when I say come together, I don't mean to come together in the sake of for hooking up purposes or to marry off or to build a strong family or whatever, because I really believe that the definition of family has changed. And well, actually, no, it hasn't changed. There's always been an expanded definition. It's just that we have allowed the conscious children, we have allowed uh, society and things to give us a definition of what a family is supposed to mean. And oftentimes we've had to redevelop that family. And we've had to sit down there and to expand the rules and expand its definition, because family has often changed. Okay, we we as a people have always had to modify that, because when we were locked up in chains and carried on, and they were dividing us and selling us off and this, that, and the other, our ancestors, I'm going to say it that way because I was never so, my ancestors were. It divided the family, it broke the family up, and then this idea and sense of family had to be recreated and regenerated. So we've always had that in our DNA and a part of something that we had to deal with. But what has happened is, over time and in our efforts of rebuilding, in our efforts of becoming some sense of normal, We have taken on the definition that mainstream society believes family is. It's a mother, a father, the children, and whatever goes on in that particular household, that is your family. And then whenever the father is absent or the mother is absent, we tend to believe that this is no longer a cohesive unit. We tend to shy and look down on single parenting. Or we have allowed single parenting to become the norm to where we ourselves have not come out of the guise of I need help, that I don't need help. See, we done picked up that mantra that I don't need help. And I could do this by myself. I don't need nobody. Women, y'all good for neck rolling. I don't need no man to do this. I don't need you to do. I don't need your motherfucking money. I don't, da, 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 da. And we get into all that little rhetoric, and it becomes a lie. It becomes us not wanting to satisfy the need. Okay. It becomes us not wanting to chastise ourselves and not wanting to be honest with ourselves. We do not want to face the reality that help is what is definitely needed because we need to remove stress, remove the anxiety. We need somebody to carry the weight sometimes. And oftentimes, when you're down and in your low self, somebody has to keep moving. Somebody has to keep going in order to keep the family structure together. And we don't make that happen. You know what I'm saying? Let me go up in here. Let's see, Devin, you said we're owning our own ability to respond. Okay, so that's what accountability and responsibility is to you. Okay, owning our own ability to respond. Dig that. Okay, I like that. Gregory, you done came up in here. Thanks for coming in, and you too, Stephen. I see you. Thank you. Um, but here's the thing. Because oftentimes, and see, like I said, black women, y'all gonna get upset with me because we know the deficiencies that black men have, okay? The problem that I have with knowing the deficiencies is that women, you are constantly the ones who want to make sure that we know the deficiencies. You are the ones who always want to make sure that a black man knows he's shiftless. Black men ain't no good. Black men don't never want to work. Black men, they don't take care of their kids and this, that, and the other. But half the time, y'all create that. Y'all are the same ones who lay down with men who have several kids across the damn country. And then you end up having more babies with him. Why? When you knew he was all this to begin with, you want to cuss him out and tell him he ain't no good and tell him he this and tell him he that when you do this from the jump. So what does that say about you and your character? Okay? What does that say about you and your womanhood? What does that say about you and your sisterhood? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that you are always the ones who we have to praise and this, that, and the other? And I'm going to say this, and this is going to be very controversial as well. I know that we are in the age of the woman. This year, honey, they done, 2018 has become the year of the woman, and we into the Me Too and the Time Up movement and carrying on the empowerment of women, which I totally agree with. At the same time, I am not hearing the same thing particularly for black men. I do not hear that same empowerment speech or that same empowerment, um, upliftment and that motivation and that momentum in order to get black men together, in order to get men, period, on the same page. And we could argue and say, well, you know what, we don't have to because the world has always been a man's world, and a man could do this and a man could do that, and we've always sat up there and had to be up under the rule of thumb of men. But the woman has always had to come from up under and this, that, and the other. And that is true to a point. And I say to a point because within the last 20 years or so, the whole movement of women have been so progressive to where Now everything is all about the empowerment of women. Everything is about the empowerment of women to where now a woman don't even need a man anymore. Have you realized that in this particular culture, everything is so women driven and women oriented to where a woman don't even need a man to have a baby no more. She can go to a sperm bank to get sperm and be self-inseminated, through in vitro in order to have a baby these days. She don't even need a man present. Okay? And to go through all that, for instance, let's go to Octobomb. Now, she froze her own eggs and carried on, and this, that, and the other, and her embryos and things of that nature, as she went because she wanted to have these babies, and all of them took, because she was in vitro fertilized, and all of those eggs took as she carried all 8 of them babies. Okay? Now, she has 14 children. I'm bringing her up because, at one point in time, honey, she was the talk of the town. She was everybody's news. And now you don't even hear about her anymore. I'm wondering how she's doing with these children, all 14 of her kids. Okay? As a young woman, what is she doing to make this happen and carry on? She had to go into porn for half a second in order to make a living and this, that, and all this craziness. But, I brought that up because oftentimes we look at our society and women have gotten to a point to where they create these little monsters that they talk about so much. The men today are created by the response that you give them. And you don't want to sit down there and believe that. Every time I put that up in on my Facebook wall or whatever, a lot of you sit down there and y'all want to come down on it and y'all disagree with it, and why you want to blame the woman for this, because a man needs to take his own responsibility. He needs to step up to the plate. He need. And you're right. He does. But why should he when you want to sit down there and do every goddamn thing? When you sit down there and enable him, let me talk about the pimps, the ballers, the shot callers. Okay? For those of you who sit down there and only thing he good for is a roll in the sack, he come over and lay down the pipe, and then you give him the authority to run your house and to run your kids and to run you, and all he did was lay some dick. He ain't did nothing. He's done nothing to contribute to the house, to contribute to the livelihood of the house. He don't even wash his own ass or do the laundry or nothing. He just sits down there and put all of that in your lap. You sit down there and cater to him and want to treat him and talk about how much of a king he is. And because he can cuss and fuss and call you a couple of bitches and carry on, and because he all hard and down and listen to Tupac and Lil Wayne and T.I. and sit down there and hold his dick all day and play video games and smoke blunts all motherfucking day that you pay for. He's supposedly some real man because he ain't around here talking. He doesn't talk with correct English and sounding like trying to be white. He ain't putting on no airs. He repping the hood and all of those craziness. But yet you think that's cool. And you think that this is what a real man is supposed to be. And then you let a lot of these conscious brothers who sit down there and want to talk about power to the people, and we need to uplift our sisters, and we need to call them queens and this, that, and the other, which they're right, we do. At the same time, they get into your head, and then they want to talk all this pro-black shit, but all it becomes is just talk. There is no action behind it. And I think that just because they rock a dashiki and a kufi, that they're supposed to be strong black men, and they haven't done shit to prove it. But yet you accept it, ladies, and then you accept his bullshit, and then it becomes you sit up there trying to pick up the pieces because now you have sat up there and let the smoke and mirrors put you in fantasy world. And then you don't sit down there and live in the reality of what's going on. Okay? So when is it that you become accountable? Because every time somebody puts you in check about it, then it becomes, you don't tell me about my household and this, that, and the other. I had to do this, and I done did this, and I done raised my kids, and I'm the only one sitting up here doing this, and you ain't gonna tell me about this. I got to sit up here and put these kids through school and buy their uniforms, and buy this and do this. I ain't getting no help from nobody. I don't get no child support because I can't find their goddamn daddies and blah, 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 blah. And then you want to get into your feelings. But then when we sit up there and put you in check about what it is that this looks like and how your image is, if we come back and tell you, girl, they're talking about you kind of tough, and this is a bad look. Let's try to change that up because they got to admit that what you're giving off is a misrepresentation of what you say you are. And anytime that doesn't go together, something is wrong. Now let me tell you the difference. Because I don't want you to think that I'm saying that people can't have their opinions because everybody's going to have them. But when the majority of the opinion of the collective becomes, this bitch is crazy, she a hoe, she a this, she a that, and you hear that and it starts to filter around everywhere, then apparently it's something that you're doing that's giving off that because everybody identifies that in you. And if they identify that in you, honey, then that means that something has got to change in order to get your perception together. And this is not to sit up there to be fake and all of that. What this is standing up in what it is. I said this about Monique, and y'all know I'm on this whole thing with her. And all her bullshit and carried on, but I have not yet heard her become accountable for some of the shit that she's done. She's blaming everybody else. But she has not stood up to the plate and said, you know what, I fucked this up. And you know what, okay, y'all saying this about my husband and this, that, and the other. However, y'all come forward with everybody, with everything else, but you have not come forward to say we've had conversations and we had difficult conversations. You ain't got to give us the detail, but if you're going to sit out there and paint this picture, then give me the whole picture. Don't just give me bits and pieces that you want me to sit down here and co-sign. And then it becomes a mistruth or a half-truth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a misrepresentation. McKees, hey, baby, I love you too. That's my sister, y'all. That there's what this is. So women, we have to sit down here. We have to go there with you. I sit down there and I tell this to my sisters, and my sister's in here. She'll vouch for me because I tell them all the time, you cannot sit down here and expect a man to do something that he ain't gonna do. If he don't want to do it, he ain't gonna do it. And if he ain't gonna do it, and you still fucking with him, then something's wrong with you. Because you sitting around here waiting on him to do it ain't gonna make him do it no quicker, no better, no faster. And then if that's all you got is to sit down here, you got complaints and carrying on, you don't need no torch song. Life is not about the ability for you to sit up here to have a torch song and to sit down there and to have a story to tell so somebody can say, ooh, child, I know what you mean, girl. I know that's right, child. I've been there too, child. That's not what life is all about. Life is we sit up here to tell our stories so that we can learn from them. And you learn from them so that you can do better the next go round. And then here's something else. A lot of the stuff that you go through is not necessarily for yourself. It is for somebody else. See, your story is to help empower somebody else so that they can learn from you. You understand what I'm saying? So women, when you sit down here and want to wonder how come the world is getting on you, or how come it seems as though everybody want to jump on you and carry it on, it's because we need to make sure that you understand accountability. You can't sit down here, and I want y'all to hear me because I'm not saying this is blame, but this is understanding responsibility. We hear, we got all this rape stuff going on and carrying on and blah, 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 blah. We hear all this all the time, and sexual assault and this, that, and the other. And you know the difference between wearing a low-cut blouse, to where it's respectful. You show, you got the shirt here. You drop it here because you want to feel a little that way, and I'm not necessarily sexy, but you feel beautiful and carried on. The shirt is the blouse is nice and whatever. That's different from all the way down here to where it's just barely cutting off the nipple, and basically all your titty is out. And then you want to sit down here and say that the cat calls that you get, oh, they make me sick. I'm so tired of being doing that to me. They ain't nothing but dogs, really. Okay, well, how much meat did you put out there for them to whistle at, or to lap over, or to sniff out and go smell or whatever? Okay, because a dog is only going to respond to stimulus. Okay, so it's all about accountability and responsibility. You have to be responsible for your actions as well. Your actions as well. Now, I heard something that the other day when Rose McGowan came on The View, and she was saying about, the meetings that they take in hotel rooms. And she said, well, what folks don't understand is that oftentimes that when the executives have hotel rooms, they have big suites. So a lot of them have offices and stuff within the hotel room. So you go to the hotel room thinking that you're going to the office. And when she said that, I had to give her a little something, something with that. I was like, you know what? I didn't think about that. But at the same time, let's talk about the time of day. You know damn well 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, that ain't no damn business dinner. That ain't no business meeting. That can't wait to 8, 9 o'clock in the morning when everybody's refreshed. It's daylight hours. Okay, you come in with the suit and things, not your after 5 gown. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about accountability, what does that mean? What does that mean? When we talk about responsibility, what does that mean? How are we being responsible with our actions and with our efforts and with our deeds, with our thoughts? You know, uh, how are we moving forward to say that this is something that I want to do? This is something that I'm going to, that's going to help me get to my goals and to reach my goals and et cetera, et cetera. How do we do that? It's all about standing up for yourself and becoming accountable and responsible because we have to stand up and understand our own bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. For all of you who feel as though I'm grown, I can do what I want to do, okay. If this is your thing and your shtick, if your shtick is I'm gonna sit down here and yes, I could take my money and I can spend it on my man any way that I want to. All right, and you're right, you can, but stand up in it. Don't sit down there and act as if somebody because somebody challenged you on it that you gonna get mad and hurt about it. Shit, if that's what you do, that's what you do. Ain't no need you bowing your head down and shit about it. Hell, this is how I roll. And if that's how you roll, then stand in it. See, that's what accountability is. Standing up and saying, okay, this is it. This is what we do. This is what I do. This is how I do me. And if all y'all, those who don't like it, they can kick rocks with open-toe shoes, and that's fine. That there is delicious. But the idea of it is to make sure that you're able to stand up and say, this is what this is all about. Women, if you want to sit down there and say that you got this, what most folks would call a bum of a man, and that he's sleeping on your couch playing video games all damn day, smoking up the weed, getting drunk, and that's how you roll, and you cool with it, you fine with it, then cool. But don't sit down there and say that you fine with it, and then 20 minutes later, all we hearing about is bitches and moans and complaints because you don't know how to take care of you, and then you want to sit down here and say that, oh, he's a no good motherfucker, this, that, the other. No, take that back because we're not going to go through all that with you. I'm not going through that with you. We're not going to go through that with you. And the reason why I'm not going to go through that is because you accepted this bullshit. You knew what he was when he got there. You knew what he was and this, that, and the other. So if that's how you're going to roll and you're going to stand in it, then stand in it. Don't sit down there and fake it that you're standing in it, but then you want to cry wolf. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. So when do we do that, ladies? How is it that we can get you to sit down there and take your share of the responsibility? Because you always want to throw it on the man. Let's look at relationships. Because I said this to my gay brothers and sisters because a lot of folks want to sit down there and wonder how come, what is this? What is this? Everybody's so soft. I've had folks say that about men these days. Do the men seem to be so soft? And yeah, they are. They are. Men are very soft these days because the idea of masculinity has changed. It has changed. What we have once considered to be a part of the masculine regime, a man takes care of himself. He has good grooming skills. He knows how to keep his shoes and stuff polished. He knows how to he shave his head and carry on, keep the gunk and stuff from up on his fingernails and all that kind of stuff. That there was good grooming. But now, men have gotten to the point now to where they can bitch out in a minute. Stuff hurt their feelings real quickly. And why is that? Because you old lady, have been sitting up there taking the buffer. You've been taking the hit for him. You've been sitting up here letting him thinking he a pimp barbershop caller, and all he does is come and lay pipe, get up and leave you, or go to somebody else. He go running around like a little boy. You have not encouraged him to be a man and to be the kind of man that you need. And why? Because you have become the man that you want. Women, you have become the man that you want because you're hard, you're aggressive, and what you call being strong is not necessarily strong. I said this before, that's bullying. But at the same time, you usurp his authority. You want to sit down there and disrespect him in front of his friends and in front of the kids and carry it on. And then what is that? You know, how it ups me to where we see a lot of the children nowadays. You want to sit down there and bring him on and challenge him and everything and call him all kind of bitches in front of his friends. Or when you mad and think that he's not supposed to knock you in your motherfucking mouth, you want to sit down there and call him all kind of bitches. See, that's what you get, you little bitch. You know, you want to sit down there and antagonize him and think that he's not supposed to sit up there and get back at you. See, that there ain't cool, baby. That's not cool at all. And then you want to sit down there and then wonder how come he don't want to be bothered with you and carried on, and wonder how come his feelings get hurt real quickly. Because one of the things about life and about men is that men's egos are very, very fragile. They are more fragile than an eggshell. Okay? And all it takes is the slightest disagreement, the slightest little shake in his filter, and it's a wrap. Okay? A man needs to know that he is wanted, he is respected, he is needed. Because part of the makeup of us is that we're the providers, we're the protectors. Okay? And if you don't need me for none of that, then what the fuck am I around here for? Okay? And then you give him this false sense of entitlement. And then when he goes awry or whatever, then you want to get mad and then call him all kinds of bitches and this, that, and the other. And then you supposed to think that he's supposed to stick around for that? Really? Okay. So what about that, children? What about that? What about that? What do you say? Huh? How do we get beyond the point of being accusatory and then learning how to stand up and be accountable for what it is that we have done or not done? See, I've always said, in order for this to work, you have to be willing to sit down there and to stand up in what it is that you've done. Okay? I'm responsible for this. When you look at a breakup, what was your part in it? What did you do or what did you not do? Maybe you didn't pay enough attention. Maybe you sat down there and ignored his dreams and goals and aspirations. Maybe you sat up there and talked about his mama one time too many. Maybe you sat up there and didn't know how to cook and didn't know how to keep his attention. Something. Usually when there's a breakup, it's because there's a disconnection. So what was your part in it? Because if y'all were in it together, supposedly, then that means together you guys grew apart because it didn't happen just on one side. What did you not do? And if you feel as though, oh no, I did everything I was supposed to, that means you ignored something. So the signs were there. What didn't you do? Did you not pay attention to the signs that it was over? Or he was slaying away or tipping off to the side or whatever? Something about that you did not do. Or did, and something in there. And you have to take that accountability and learn from it. And then once you learn the lesson, apply the lesson. Because a lesson don't mean nothing until you apply it. You see what I'm saying? 1 + 1 is 2. But that don't mean nothing until you learn how to count 2 and understand, okay, oh, I have $2. Oh, I have 2 pencils. Oh, I got 2 packs of chicken in the refrigerator, honey. We need to go grocery shopping because that isn't until you apply it. You see what I'm saying? So accountability and responsibility. When are we going to sit down there and hold ourselves up to it? Facing that mirror is always impossible because that means you have to look at everything. The mirror not going to lie to you, sweetie. And one of the things you could do, you could lie to everybody else. But when you start lying to yourself in that mirror, then we have a very serious problem. That means you don't want to deal with the reality. You're looking for an escape, and then you're looking for a scapegoat. Okay? And oftentimes, it becomes in the form of drugs, alcohol, sex, some kind of addiction. Maybe you just started eating. Maybe you just started, you're trying to lose weight. You're not eating, and you became anorexic, bulimic, whatever the case is. Something in there, and because you don't want to stand up and experience what that is. Oftentimes, nobody wants to take accountability or be responsible for their actions because it says that I was wrong, or it says that I was stupid, or it says that I've been a fool, or it says something that you don't want to experience. You don't want the egg on your face. You don't want to sit down there and be ridiculed. You don't want to have to be scorned at the sake of looking good, at the sake of whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when do we do that, people? Ladies, you have children, you have sons. How is it? And y'all know I can't stand this. I cannot stand when women sit up there and you spoil your boys and they'll forget that they're going to grow up to be something, to be men. Okay, you done spoiled them and, oh, look at my little baby, honey. He's going to have all the little girls. And you're teaching him that already. And then mad because he done became a hoe. And got babies all across New Jerusalem somewhere. Well, you did it. You was the one that, oh, look at my baby, look at my baby, look at my baby. Oh, he going to have all the little girls. All the little girls. Here's another one that I can't stand. If this is your child is never the man of the fucking house. How in the hell your child running your house? Huh? See, again, false shit that we sit down there and we adhere to. So you don't create this little monster to where now he think he a pimp, baller, shot caller because he the man of the house. How is your child, the man of the house? Until he becomes an adult and he is paying your bills. My mother says this all the time, honey. She says, no, I don't live with my kids. I mean, my kids don't live with me. I live with my children because all the bills are in their name, honey. Okay, they take care of the house. They do this and they do that. How is it that you sit down there and allow your child to become the man of the house? You know what? Even though I had a lot of responsibility because I'm the firstborn, and yes, I helped my mother raise my siblings, okay? I was never the man of the house. At any time that I thought my ego was going to let me, if my mother saw my chest pick out one time too many, she knocked me right the fuck in it and let me know exactly, no, you don't run nothing. You give me an assist because I need your help, yes, but you don't run nothing. You are not the man of this house. I do not have a husband. Okay, you are my son. As she checked the baby, whenever my mother tried to date or whatever, as a son or whatever, hell, we do that anyway. But I had to remember my place. I was her son. I was not, and never her equal. I was never a contemporary to try to put her in check. The fuck was that? Now as an adult male, when I became an adult and was working on my own and was paying bills and things and understood what paying taxes and all that kind of shit, yeah, then I had an opinion. Okay? That mattered. But I had to remember she is still my mother and she's still able to make her own decisions. And she was making them before I got here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, now the protection factor of making sure that nobody hurt my mom and carrying on, that there what we do as children. Looking out for your family, looking out for the best interest and carrying on. That's what that was. But as far as anything else, shit, what the fuck is this? Okay? Somebody called the house one time and I got to screaming, who is this? Do you know she has 4 children? I did that one time and I almost got my lips snatched off my face. Okay? Because my mother, it was a gentleman caller, honey. She was going on a date that particular evening. And I was like, And then that was very selfish of me. How dare I sit down there and think that because she was my mother, she was not entitled to a life. You know what I'm saying? Now, let me put a pin right there. Because you women out there get that twisted. Y'all want to sit down there and think that the children's supposed to understand that you got to have a life, and you want to sit down there and forget that you got to raise these little kids. You want to put that responsibility on somebody else and don't want to sit down there and take your own responsibility. You laid down and had them damn little crumb snatchers and babies. You had them babies. Okay? And you know how difficult it is. So what the hell you want to sit down there and get upset because you can't have a life? Bitch, you forfeited that when you opened up them damn legs and didn't do what you were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? That ain't the kid's fault, that's yours. Okay, for those of you who want to blame your children, honey, because you can't have a man. Most men today, honey, are not going to sit down there and bring on somebody with children. Why? Because they don't want that responsibility, number one. And for men, let me get a little closer. For those of you who don't want the responsibility of raising somebody else's kids, that is quite all right. But do know this. Do not go into a woman's life thinking the only thing you're there for is to get the coochie and leave, because that there is selfish. And if a woman lets you do that, then you need not be a part of her life, because that there is a disrespect to the children. How dare you sit down there and do that? Now we talk about accountability and responsibility. Men, that's your fault. Whenever you still going back because you know that's an easy lay. That there is somebody, you know, you get your rocks off with that one. But how dare you do that? But accountability comes, women, why would you accept that? Why would you allow somebody to just come up in here and use you as a cum dump and then going about his business because he's going somewhere else? And you know he's going somewhere else. You know he's going to another bitch somewhere. Why would you let him use you as his cum rag? Yeah, I'm graphic as hell. Okay? What you say, Terrell, you done came up here, what you say, steal the pussy? Yeah. Okay. Why would you do that? And then let me flip it over, because I got to talk to my LGBT children. Because this is not just on a level to where it's just my hetero-attractional folks that this happens to. This here happens to us as well. Because you want to sit down here and think that because you done invested your time, you done invested your money on a piece of trade. Note, I said trade. That the trade is going to sit down here and be good to you. Bitch, he's trade. That means he is community property. Bitch, he gonna get what he gonna get from you because you stupid enough to give it to him, and then gonna leave you to go over to your good girlfriend or your good girlfriend's friend. See? And it's all in exchange. That's why they trade. And then we get caught up, and this is across the board. We get caught up because we still looking for masculinity. We looking for hard men. We looking for, you want to say you want that Mandingo warrior and carry on, but that shit only works in the bedroom, because when he come out that bedroom and call you a bitch and want to sit down there and this, that, and the other, now you want a neck roll. Who you talking to like that? Bitch, you just allowed that to come walking in your door. Anytime you let a vampire does not come into your house uninvited. Okay, so when you let that fucker in and give him an invitation, then that means he coming up in there to rule and to rob, steal, and kill. Bitch, what is wrong? What is wrong? So accountability and responsibility, that there is the theme of this. When are we going to stand up and be accountable for our own actions? That means stand in your shit. If you did the crime, then you need to do the time. Ain't no need of you sitting up there bitch smarting and complaining, child, because hell, this is what happens. This is what happens. You understand? Now, let's go. Back to my gay children and this thing of being accountable for this, because see, a lot of times that happens with my trans sisters. You want to sit down there, you got to trade over and carry it on, and you want to make him a little pseudo husband and things. And y'all know this happened in the wintertime all the time. And ladies, how many of y'all do this too? It's cold outside, and as long as it's cold outside, there's snow on the ground and ice and things. He could come up in here, he got a warm cot, he get 3, 4, 5, 6 meals a day. He got cable, he got television, he got whatever. You pay for his fucking phone bill to make sure, because he's supposed to be looking for a job, and carry it on. And then as soon as the weather break, now all of a sudden he hot in the ass or he, ants in his pants and shit. He can't stay still. Now he want to go jump and leave, and then want to foot you with the bill, or don't want to come back, and now you got to sit there. Well, where you going? Don't question me. What the fuck you mean? I'm a grown ass man. But you've accepted that, girls and guys. You've accepted that bullshit. You've accepted it. Now, let me talk to my straight men, because I don't want to exclude you, because I can hear some of the ladies say, "Well, what about the men? Because the men." Well, here it is. Men, you sit down here, and I just said earlier, men's egos are fragile. They are more fragile than an eggshell. Now, you sit up here and think that because you don't spend your money, you done showered her, you got her hair done, you got her nails done, and carrying on, mani petty and carrying on, and things, let her get this little 26-inch weave in her head and shit that done cost $200-300 damn because she wore gazillion braids and all that old bullshit. Okay, you think because you spent your money on her that means she down for it, but you ain't paid attention to it. That's all she wants you for, fool. Have you ever looked at your relationships and wonder how come every time y'all have a serious conversation, it always revolve around money, and ain't never revolving around what y'all gonna do together as a couple, how y'all gonna grow, how this is supposed to be? If y'all ain't never had those kind of conversations, then something is wrong. And that's why you got to have accountability and understand what your responsibility is in it. My actions was, I didn't pay attention to this bitch sitting up here saying, "Oh, well, when you go do?" It's always when I'm gonna do, not when we. Only time it become when we go do is when I got to spend money. When we going out to eat, when we going out shopping, when we going out to the club, baby, you don't never take me out no more. It ain't never about when we gonna go to the bank and get these IRAs or whatever, or when we go put together and go look at this house or whatever because we want to get a house together, or let's go to a furniture store and see about getting some new furniture because we wanted some nice things or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or let's go look at brochures because we need to look at a vacation spot so that we can go and learn the world together. You know what I'm saying? No, nothing like that where we could grow as a couple. It's always how I can impress my friends. So my friends could sit down there and say, "Oh, girl, he a good man because he does all these nice things for me." Right? They did what Janet Jackson said. And then, "Oh, I know he's so nice. He does a lot of nice things for me." Bitch, if that's all you want is nice things, girl, then shit, you could do that your damn self. Get your own damn job. Get your own nice things. That way you ain't got to worry about it. But again, there's that double-edged sword. Because the second you do it for yourself, the first thing you say is, "I don't need no man." And then you want to put your ass on your shoulders and shit, and then you want to sit around here and you become the man that you want because now you want to act like your balls is bigger than he is. Okay, your ovaries now dropped outside your vajayjay, honey, and now they hanging lower than he is, and you want to sit down there and act as if you got all this and that and the other, and want to embarrass him and call him out for what? All for material things. We do see. There you have it. Let me go to the comments. What y'all up in here, child? Okay, Zakaria that came up in here. Raymond, you came up in. You said, "Child, you can't tell these idiots anything. They have no accountability." Okay, Greg that came up in here. Leon came up in here. Thanks for watching, people. Thank you. Raymond, you say, "Well, another form of prostitution on both sides." Exactly. I just had to tell this to my granddaughter. Okay. And yes, I'm gonna say it publicly because that was my question. I said to her, "Are you a hoe?" Okay, because of the situation that she had got herself in, and she's repeating a pattern. And I said, "Are you a hoe?" And my baby got quiet. Okay, and when I say granddaughter, this is not biological. This is my adopted granddaughter. In gay community, honey, we got all kind of kids and shit everywhere, just to clear that up. She got quiet. And then I said, "Because if you are, honey, then you're doing it wrong. Because I don't see you benefiting from this. Everything that you have done has just crumbled before you. Why?" So, and then I said, "And if you're not a hoe, then why are you allowing these folks to treat you like one? And then they treat you like a cheap one because you still ain't got shit to show for it. Okay, you could get what, what we call a Happy Meal. A Happy Meal ain't but what, $3 these days? For a burger, fry, and a drink, bitch, you ain't even got a large drink. You just got a regular sized drink, a regular fry, and a burger. Okay? Maybe extra 25 cents because they put cheese on the burger. Okay? So for $3.25 plus tax, bitch, you can be bought. Or for a pack of cigarettes, well, in New York, there's $15 a pack. So maybe, okay, so you a little high-end hoe for a pack of cigarettes. Okay, but most of y'all like to smoke these little blunts, so the blunts come to for a fucking dollar, and then you're scraping off somebody else's weed and shit. So, So what is that? Okay, accountability and responsibility, children. When are we going to stand up and take it? And realize, honey, that there is where our power is. When you learn how to stand up and become accountable for yourself and your actions, because you can only do that for yourself and for your own actions. When you stand up and become accountable for it, that is where you can sit down there and bring about change. You can bring about a newness with your thinking, a newness with everything, because then you can then be able to say, you know what, I don't like this. Okay, you can make amends. You can sit down there and say, you know what, damn, I fucked that up. Let me go and say, and apologize, and then take the heat. See, that's the other thing about accountability and responsibility. You got to be willing to take the heat. Remember I said, don't do the crime if you can't do the time? Oh yeah, honey, there is a consequence. There is a consequence for every action. For every action, there is a reaction, honey. There's a consequence. Good, bad, or indifferent. So when you stand up and take accountability for it, honey, hey, you're able to then maneuver your way through, and then won't nobody have shit to hold over your head, won't nobody have nothing to sit down there and to browbeat you with or whatever. You have the power to write your own narrative, darling. You have the power. You're the painter, and the world is the canvas. You have the power to create whatever picture that you want, okay, on that canvas. And that there is what accountability and responsibility will do for you. But we have to learn how to stand up in it. Women, you have got to sit up there and take that. You have got to take that accountability. And this is going well beyond your queendom of being, we're the mothers of the earth and carrying on and blah, 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 blah. All that is true and that's fine and that's wonderful. But I'm talking about all this old petty, eddy, nickel and diamond shit. That slick shit, that shit that sits down there and it has no rhyme or reason. You just do it because you feel as though you can. And we have a society have allowed us to believe that the woman's prerogative, honey, it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind. No, bitch, you need to sit down there and understand what the fuck it is you want to do, and stop being wishy-washy, okay? Or think that because you got a better deal on the other end, honey, that's supposed to change your mind. Or because you done got mad, now all of a sudden you don't want to do. We done made plans, and because it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind, it's a man's prerogative to change his mind too. Okay? Because I'll leave your ass at the goddamn hairdresser, honey, take my credit card with me, but she on her own. Okay, that bitch will come out of there, okay, she'll be in the middle of a perm. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't give a fuck. Okay, if it comes down to it. You see what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to let accountability and responsibility be our guiding forces. That's how you rule yourself. That's how you sit down there and get you together. That's how you become a better you. This is how you begin to love yourself. You love yourself because you become accountable for your actions. You stand up for what it is that you do. You ain't grown until you're able to sit up there and say, hey, I learned this a long time ago because I used to go into the adult bookstores and stuff, the little peep shows and shit. And I used to be scared because I was like, child, I don't want nobody walking down the street seeing me go up in here. And I had to sit down there and say, I said, bitch, wait a minute. Whose money spending? You spending? Mine. Okay. Who else is finna to do this for you? Nobody. All right. Who else is finna sit down here and do whatever else? Nobody. Good. So if they ain't got shit to say, or if they're not helping you do all this shit, why is it that you worried about what the fuck they thinking? Because you don't even know if they thinking it. You sit up there basing your shit off of what somebody else is probably thinking. And probably far from it. Stand up in it. When I walked in that damn adult bookstore, I didn't give a fuck about who was going to see me coming out of it because it was my money. I would have been there and got my magazines, I got my toys, I did whatever the fuck I was going to do because that's what I wanted to do. And that's how I stood. You have to stand up. If you sit up there buying your weed and carry it on, ain't that what you do? You sit up there and you say, hey, this is what we finna go ahead and do. For those of you who are harder drugs and carrying on, and if you're still doing it in the dark, that means something is wrong with it. Whatever you do, and if you still got the feeling though you sneaking around to do it, something wrong with it. You ain't got no accountability for it. That ain't a being accountable, there's being a coward. Because you feel you got to duck and hide and shit. Okay? Now, this is not to say that you're not being private. Now, I want y'all to hear me correctly. Being private is one thing. Being, to duck and dodge and carry on because you hiding, oh no, that's a whole other thing. That's not being responsible. Okay? That is not being responsible at all. And take that from me, because y'all know I've told y'all my story before. Sex is my addiction. So yeah, okay? In that accountability and stuff, I had to realize when going into the bookstores and carrying on became too much, and I lost my power in it because it started to consume me. See? Yeah. So that there's when I had to take responsibility for my actions because shit, wondering how come I'm losing paychecks and shit. Well, hell, you done put it all in the damn 25-cent machine. How about that? Okay, ain't got shit to show for it, but what? A greasy hand or whatever. Okay, So see, this is how accountability and responsibility sits down there, and to build you is to better you, is to fortify you, is to empower you. Okay? Look at your finances. See, you could take that across the board with your finances. Look at your finances. How good are you with money? I'm not great at all. I can say I'm okay. Okay? I'm better than some. I could be better. I could be much better than what I am, but I'm better than some. Okay? I can't even say, okay, I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm nowhere near where I'm supposed to be. At 48 years old, no, I'm nowhere near where I'm supposed to be. In fact, basically, to put it plainly, hell, to be responsible and accountable, hell, I'm starting over. From zero. Shit, the damn 401k when I was sick and carrying on, that got depleted because when I lost my job, hell, I had to take care of myself. So I pulled the money from the 401k. All right, that's gone now. So now what? Didn't have a savings. So now what? So we're at zero. So we're starting over. And see, these are the kind of things that we have to talk about openly and honestly, because all of us get into these particular relationships and things, and then you hit us all the time. Well, how you gonna date a man with bad credit? Bitch, why my credit score is important to you on a date? Bitch, you don't need to know what the hell my FICO score is. Bitch, we not sitting up here trying to get into no fucking marriage or whatever when we trying to acquire shit. Why is my credit score important to you now? At this stage of the game, bitch, fuck you. What is yours? See, you trying to upgrade on me. See, again, accountability and responsibility. If you hearing that kind of shit and y'all ain't playing for keeps, what is that? A gold digger, somebody trying to sit there and see what they can get from you. And oftentimes, you want to sit down here and play both sides of the field of thing because you want to fake it till you make it, and all this kind of bullshit, running yourself ragged, going into heart attacks and strokes and stress and things, trying to impress somebody when you can't do it. And then the other person, and this is gay, straight, or whatever, men or women, they sit down there and get upset because you ain't doing what is being done on the television or what their girlfriends and stuff are saying. Everybody they're not trying to be the Jones no more. They're trying to be the Jacksons and the Duprees. Okay? Because now they've got to have their neck on, their big old bangle earrings and shit, and their head wraps and all that kind of shit. Because they want to have the image that they're successful. But hell, everybody's sleeping on, you go in the house ain't shit. And that there is what happens. So we have to get into understanding accountability and responsibility, children. And I'm coming to you, women, because I think that you give men a bad rap. Men, y'all want men to sit down here in that old fallacy of the 50s and 60s and things that the man's supposed to do everything. Everything. That's ridiculous. Because see, what does that say about you? If he's doing everything, yeah, he gonna call the shots. Okay, what are you? My mother had to tell me this today or yesterday because I'm gonna give a shout out to my god sister. My god sister passed, and it's a sudden shock to us all. I really haven't processed it down. And my mother said, you know, God created us to have a help meet. Okay, not necessarily a mate, but a help meet. Okay, which means everywhere along the line, someone is going to be put in place to give you some kind of assistance. Okay, if you happen to partner with somebody to be your help mate, that's delicious. But everybody along the way, you're going to have a help meet. Okay, you're not supposed to do this by yourself. Okay, and anytime you get somebody to where only they're not in it for the help meet, they're in it for the taking. They're the take meet. You done met somebody that's going to take everything and they're not putting anything back into the kitty. They're not replenishing you. They're not uplifting you. They're not sitting there to make sure that the core is together. Then, honey, it's time to move on. You're stressing yourself out trying to keep this bitch together. And the only thing she worried about is when you going to get her a next pair of Louboutins that you can't afford. Right. She want a damn Michael Kors purse. That's knockoff, but you want to sit down there and pay the price like it's real. Right. Okay. So, you know, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So accountability and responsibility, when are we going to wake up and let those be our ruling forces, honey, to guide us into our own empowerment? And take it across the board. You have to be accountable and responsible for every facet of your life. For those of you who are spiritual, the miracle don't work on its own, honey. God is not going to create a miracle by God's self. You have to do your part. And I love telling this story because tradition teaches that Jesus turned the water to wine. But before he did that, what happened? He told them to go get the new wine, the wine sleeves. When they brought the things to him, then he turned the water to wine. They didn't go and it was automatically wine. They had to go get it and bring it to him. So they had to do their part in the miracle. You understand? If you're looking for a job, honey, you know damn well the job is not going to come knocking on your door. What do you have to do? You got to get up and go apply. You got to go take the drug test. You got to go do in order for the miracle to happen. You see? So you've got to do your part. Accountability and responsibility. If you do yours, then everything else is going to do it. Whether it is for your good or for your detriment, honey, because either side that you do it on. Because you can sit down there and do the negative, honey. You're looking for a job and your part was to sit down on your ass and not go apply for the job, then what's going to happen? You're going to get put out somewhere, right? How about that? You understand? Because you had the rent money. Okay, so that means whatever it is, your responsibility in it is going to show, and the consequences of it will manifest. So having said all that, children, oh, really? Okay, it's almost 3 o'clock and I didn't know that. But that day I wanted to get off my chest for today. That's going to be my little spiel. So again, honey, if you love me, tell a friend. If you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this: one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, this thing that I'm doing, honey, will move forward. I thank you guys for coming in. Again, please, for this conversation, share this with somebody. If it's on your heart to do, I will greatly appreciate it. Again, go take a listen to this brother. I'm going to put it back up in here because I see we got some new folks coming up in here. I'm going to put this link back up in here for the brother's video about accountability because he asked women this question. Okay, when are the women going to become accountable for something? Because we can never hold them accountable. It seems as though we always, when it comes down to women or chastising women or whatever, it always seems as though there's an excuse for it. There's always something for it. And you can never really put your finger on it. But damn it, you know, a man don't have an excuse. Do you realize in this particular country, who was I saying? We just had this conversation the other day. I forgot who I said this to. But here in this country, if you are a man and you need to go out and make something happen, That means you're supposed to go out and make something happen. You better not bring your ass in the house empty-handed. But a woman could go out, I don't care what it is that she's done. If she come in the house empty-handed, it's always, oh, well, girl, okay, you know what? That's all right, baby. This is part of the dues, and this is just how it's going to work. You know, it means you got to sit down here, and we got to try a different angle. We got to make this happen, blah, 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 blah. It becomes one of those kind of things. But a man, do you realize in this country, because you have a penis or a dick swinging between your legs, that everything here is always about you trying to get your hustle on. You're supposed to always be able to do this, that, and the other. When now, there's not a lot of opportunities out there. Have you realized that there's a lot of homeless men out there who can't get a job or can't even get a decent hustle because won't nobody allow them to do it? And we could call it the color thing or whatever. Yes, it does break down to color because we have a lot of black men out there. A lot of them are unskilled. Listen, some of those little construction jobs, you know, where they got when they standing outside and holding little sign that say stop and go and this, that, and the other. They blocking up the traffic. Do you know those little jobs pay $15 an hour? You don't have to have all that carpentry skills or whatever to build the damn house. They just said stand there and hold the goddamn stop sign with your hard hat on. And most of the time, folks can't even do that. Do you know to go collect those bricks is the same thing? They take all the bricks and clean up the area and stuff. Same thing. But a lot of folks won't even do that to get their hustle on. And then we don't have a lot of those kind of hustles anymore. You know, I remember back in the day when I was a kid and my father was in between work. This is when he and my mother were together. There was always something. He could go out and run into a job. You know what I'm saying? Make a job, you know. What about the hustle of cutting grass and lawn care services and things like that? We don't even have that anymore. You know, nobody does those kinds of things. But a man, when he leaves the house, if he comes back empty-handed, then he's considered not a man. See, he's considered less than. He's considered he can't provide for his family. And nobody takes into account what a man goes through. Because if a man can't find the work, or can't create the work because he got, you know, the resources are not there or whatever, then that plays on his self-esteem. And then the next thing you know, you got his woman sitting on the top calling him all kind of bitches and shit, to his face and around his friends because she thinks that she could take him on. She's going to go toe-to-toe with him and things of that nature. And you want to sit up there and say that that's supposed to be right? And then you let little Ray come up in here. And because he's slinging some good dick, honey, but yet he's sitting there playing video games all goddamn day because you done bought the new PlayStation or the Xbox or whatever the damn thing is that they doing now, Sega Genesis and all this old bullshit. Because you bought the thing, he get a carte blanche pass to sit up there and play these games all damn day. Oh, you know, that's just him because he's slinging some good dick. Bitch, stop. Okay? And for my gay children, you sit up there, like I said before about the trade. Same difference. You sit up there, okay, they tell my business. Sit up there, yeah. The child was a hustler. He went out there, hustle up on a couple of coins. Yeah. But he knew how to go to the soup kitchen to go get the free food, so he kept food in the house. That was a good thing. But hell, he wasn't doing what I needed him to do. But because he was sitting up there and the sex was great, he thought that I was just going to sit down there and accept that. No, get your ass up. I need you to do something. But in the beginning, you know, I was sitting up there and having a little chest out and shit. You know, I come home, let me get I get a starter kit. So he wanted a half a pint of Parmesan, a dime bag of weed, and what was the third thing? Hold on. He wanted a 40 ounce. So that was his little starter kit to his day. Well, shit, a dime bag, that's $10. And then with the liquor and shit, okay, that's another $5, $6. So shit, that's $16. That was $20 a day just for a start. That was just to get you up, to get motivated to want to do something. Really. 20 times 7, that's $140 fucking dollars a week. Okay, times 4. Come on, let's do the math now. That's $560 goddamn dollars, honey, a month. That went to what? A starter kit. Yeah. That's just to get you motivated to look at the world. Okay, to sit there. And all I got to show for it was some good booty. Really? A good piece of ass. Yeah. Okay. In the beginning, it was fine because he used to cook and clean. Okay, he used to have the house clean for me, had dinner ready for me. And that was the first 30 days. Then he saw I got used to it or whatever. Then he wanted to smell his ass and put his ass on his shoulders. And now, he was trying to shot call and this, that, and the other. And then that became a problem. You don't run nothing up in here. Hello, I'm paying all the bills. Shit, if the landlord came up in here, they're not coming looking for you. They're coming looking for me. So you could easily skate your ass up out of here, and I got to have all the responsibility of what goes wrong. Yeah. Okay, ladies, I know you understand where I'm coming from, child, because of how many of y'all do that shit. And as a matter of fact, let me go one deeper. For those of you who are on welfare, and I will call it welfare just like that. I know it's aid to dependent children or whatever. And for those of you who are on disability, who only get to check once a month or whatever, you get your goddamn food stamps. You want to sit down here and make sure your refrigerator is full of food that he like. You ain't worried about these goddamn kids because they're going to eat whatever. You make sure you get shit in the house that he like. So every time he come over and fuck you right, honey, he can sit up there and get a steak, mashed potatoes, okay? All this old stupid ass shit. I used to kill me. I knew bitches who went to go get crab legs with food stamps. You bought fucking crab legs for a man. I was finna say a nigga, but no, I'm gonna change that. Okay. Yeah, all because he was slinging it right. Really? Come on, girl. Yeah. And you don't want to be held accountable for it because, you got to understand, honey, I got needs. You ain't got no motherfucking needs, bitch. You was horny. You was in heat. You could, hello? And wanted some attention and affection. So that's that. Accountability and responsibility, children. We need to stand up and face that. Stand up and be real. Stand in front of that mirror. Do your work. Come on, Iyanla. Do your work. Stand in that mirror and be honest with yourself. And the things that you don't like that you can change it. The things that you don't like that you can't change, child, you got to work with it and accept it. And then stand in it. Okay, hell, I don't like the fact that I got this great big old huge nose, honey. I could change it, but I don't have the money to change it. And I done swore I'm not letting them cut on me no goddamn more. I had too many damn surgeries. You understand? So hell, it done became my character now. Okay. I don't like the fact that this motherfucker run all day. I was a runny nose boy when I was in school. Still running. Okay, I had bad sinuses and all, but hell, we just deal with it. Hell, I got to buy stock and tissue paper. Yeah, okay, at least make some money off of it, right? I said all that to say, honey, we need to learn how to be accountable and responsible. Now, having said all that, it is now 3 o'clock. Let me finish. I'm at the job, and I got to go finish doing what I got to do, okay? So again, honey, if you love me, tell a friend. Honey, if you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this, one way, shape, style, form, or fashion, everything that I'm doing will move forward. Honey, you may finish all of your crumpets because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea with Big Meats right here on Facebook Live. I've been saying on Blog Talk Radio. But catch the radio show. I have not done a live broadcast all year, because I've been doing the Facebook Lives. But I am going to get back on the air soon. So go to the website, www.dishingtea.com, for more information. I'm going to put that down in here one more time for you to go there. That's the website, dishingtea, dishingtea.com. Okay? Go there for everything about me. Please note that Revelations, Affirmations, and Confirmations, that's my second book, will be out next month, honey. So we're on countdown. I got to hurry up and get this thing ready. Pre-orders will be coming soon. So check my wall and check the Dishing Tea page and also the website for more information on how you can pre-order your book. And we will go from there. So on that note, baby, honey, I will talk with you guys another time. Ciao, Bella.